Hi there, Martin County residents. It's Eddie Adeweyes from Engel and Volkers. If you are thinking about buying a house in the coming months, this video is for you. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to get a lot more great content about what's happening in our real estate market here in Martin County. Have a great day. Hi everyone, it's Eddie Adeweyes again from Engel and Volkers here with a new guest, Ryan Bartlett of Unified Mortgage. And today we wanted to talk about a topic that's probably not as prevalent out there. It might not be research that you readily find, because everything that's out there with regard to buying your first home and getting your first mortgage seems to be right in the moment when you're ready to do it, when you've made the decision to buy. And what this little talk is with Ryan today is more about, what are we thinking about? What are the things we need to be thinking about maybe even a year out before we commit to buying a home? What does that even look like? And is there any benefit to planning? So that's what we want to talk about. Ryan, thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. We all know that preparation is key to getting ready for anything in life, whether we're starting a family or buying our house or buying a car. I mean, all the steps through life. And certainly buying a house is one of the largest things you're ever going to do, one of the more important things you're going to do. So I like to think that preparation is going to be helpful in that. But for those that are thinking about buying a home and they know that they're going to do it because they're going to get that next job, or they just got a new job and they know by X amount of months they're going to have more money and they're ready to save, or whatever their situation may be, what would be the thing that you would say are first of all, the benefits of planning ahead of time before buying a house?
It's going to be the difference between potentially qualifying and not, as well as potentially a better rate, more buying power, and there's a couple things that come into play into that. So you should be aware of what your credit score is. You should even look at your credit report. You should look at that a year in advance and know what's on it. Are there some delinquencies on it? Is there something that you can take care of now versus waiting up until the point of applying for a mortgage? Taking care of those a year in advance are going to have tremendous upsides on your credit score. You can look at your outstanding credit lines. How many do I have out? How much am I using on those? It's best for you to keep that usage percentage very low, so that can help your credit score. The other things you can look at is, how much debt do I have out? Do I need to pay down some debt now in order to qualify for a mortgage in a year? And then you can put a plan in place to obviously save money and be able to pay that down. And then the other thing you should be thinking about is, how much of a home do I want? How much of a down payment will I need for this home?
And how do you know that? How do you know how much of a down payment? Obviously, when people first sit down and start thinking about, I'm going to buy a home, and they think about, I'm going to buy it in a year, and I'd like to be able to buy a house in this neighborhood, and I think I want to spend $250,000 or $300,000 or whatever it is. How do you get some structure around that to know? Because it's great to get excited about that beautiful house that's down the street that's worth $300,000, but how do I know that I'll be able to afford that? How do the numbers shake out, and who do I need to talk to in order to get that kind of structure in my head?
Okay, yeah, so there's a couple things that'll come into that: your down payment and then your debt to income ratio. So those things, you're gonna want to speak to a mortgage broker or lender that you do trust to give you more details on that specifically. And there are websites that can also give you kind of a basic of like, hey, how much will it approximately cost for this amount of house? But getting to your down payment, let's say you want 20%. The 20% cash is going to be 20% of that $300,000. If that's what you want to do, that's $60,000.
Now, on top of that though, of course, there's closing costs. So when someone says, I'm going to buy a $300,000 house and I'm going to put 10% down, yes, it's not just the $30,000.
Exactly. So yes, you can anticipate another 2 to 4% in there. That will range. I mean, the 2 to 4% is a pretty big range, so okay, it'll fall somewhere in there for you.
Okay, perfect. And what would you say is the top 3 criteria for choosing a lender? Like when I'm, because obviously some of these things I could figure out myself at home, do a little web research online, but how do there's going to be some things where I just don't understand the terminology or how to go about it. Am I calculating it right? What are the best ways to identify a mortgage broker that I can work with and trust?
Okay. Yeah, so first I would look for referrals, family, friends, other business professionals you've worked with, and ask them, hey, who have you used for your mortgages in the past? Did you like them? Did they do a good job? Did they do everything they said they were going to do? Absolutely, I want their name and number. Get those down. Get a couple of those, and if you don't have that avenue, if you don't have those sort of resources, then you can go online for you can go to websites and look at different reviews and stuff like that to see if someone looks like they're good. But that's just the start of it. So you'll pull in as many people as you want with that. You're doing yourself a tremendous disservice if you only call one lender. You want to take advantage of the competition that exists. So make sure you do reach out to at least two. And when you reach out to them, go through the full application process. Get all the way to that loan estimate. There's a common misconception out there that people feel like when they've reached the loan estimate, they've chosen this lender. No, they have not chosen this lender.
That's important.
Yes, absolutely. So get those loan estimates, put them side by side, and say, hey, what's this? Why is this interest rate higher than this one? And get on the phone and talk to them. Why is this fee here versus not over here? And you'll start to reap the benefits, because they may say, oh, well, maybe that's not right. Maybe I can see if I can lower that, or well, this is the reason why they're charging this here and I'm not, or whatever it is. And then you can get down to these are my final loan estimates. I truly understand what each one of these things are. Which one's better than the other? If neither are better than the other, then pick who you're most comfortable with, who you feel has the knowledge to deliver what they've offered in the time frame that they've said they would.
Perfect. One of the big questions, because when you're mentioning that, one of the big questions I think that comes up often is, I get it. I see that I can shop around and talk to several ones during my home buying process, but how does that affect my credit score?
Yeah, so you do not have to worry about that. The credit bureaus know that when you've ran your credit with one lender and then you do that simultaneously, then there's a window that allows you to apply to multiple lenders, and the bureaus are going to lump it into they are shopping for one mortgage.
Okay.
So there's no additional adverse effect on your credit.
Okay, perfect. Well, obviously, one of the things that I want to get into, and next time we sit down together, and stay tuned for this one, because it's going to be important to then. You got to something very important, which is once you have, let's say, 3 or 4 estimates in front of you from the different lenders, how do you read through all that, and what does all that mean? And I know that some items are negotiable, and some things can potentially be just extra charges that one is charging a lot more for this exact same thing, and to get not only clarity as to why that is, but also to find out if some of those things can come off, and I've seen that. So there are some practical things that can be done to negotiate that, but thanks so much for being here. It was a great first interview. We're going to continue this series with Ryan at Unified Mortgage, because I feel it's going to bring a lot of value to even some of those most basic questions you may have about getting a mortgage, whether you're doing it tomorrow or you're planning on it for a year or 2 years from now. It's always great to be prepared. Thanks again, Ryan.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.
Thank you.